Can you give us an update then on all your players who have come back, maybe not come back?
Well, the two Israeli boys aren't back, obviously. Edward's back today. And then all the internationals are fitting well, the ones who have been playing in the last week or so. So obviously all in contention.
Is Edward fit to play tomorrow? Is he in contention?
Well, he'll be assessed today. So we're going through that procedure at the minute. So we'll know more later on this afternoon.
How is he looking on first look?
All right, he's been a bit tired and, he's been isolated. But he'll go through the test today and we'll see how he is this evening.
In terms of Ryan Christie, is there talk of you trying to get a reprieve for him? Could you tell us what's happening at that front?
Well, we have the understanding, from stories in the media and, phone calls that have been made that, Kieran Tierney is eligible to play for Arsenal. Well, if that is the case, then, we have been pushing hard to, get Ryan involved as well. He's in the same situation as Kieran was. Since the story broke about the three of them in the room, he's had 2 tests with us, all negative. So from our point of view, he is good to go. And we'd be very confused and we want answers. If Kieran is allowed to play and Ryan has refused to play, it would be very, very confusing. I think our supporters would want to know the answers to that as well. So at the minute, it's still very much in the air.
Are you speaking with the authorities at the moment about the situation?
Well, Peter and the board have been pushing this since day one, but we've had no clarification. If anything, we've just met with complete resistance so far.
Neil, in terms of when Ryan was told to self-isolate, Kieran Tierney, when he was told, issued a statement saying he was surprised by this and he kept social distance. Was Ryan of the same ilk? Did he also find it surprising he had to self-isolate in the first place?
Yeah, he's devastated. They felt they followed the procedures properly. Not self-isolating, social distancing. Didn't come into contact. And he's probably guilty by association. But like I said, he's negative and has been for the last week, 10 days. So we've got a, fit and able player, not being allowed to play, which we find, if this scenario pans out that Kieran can play, we find that very confusing.
Does that rule have to be looked at in general in terms of self-isolating when coming into close contacts? Because obviously we've seen it before with St Mirren and Hamilton as well. If the players are testing negative, you said that they're twice now, is it something we have to look at in that rule in terms of allowing them back to play in the bubble?
Look, I don't write the rules. It's health authority, and that's the legislation from what we've been told. So it can it be challenged? Well, certainly in this case, if as I say, Kieran is clear to play, then we have to challenge that certainly.
Can I just pick up one thing? Sorry, Ali. Sorry, just very quickly. Just one thing with Odsonne, Neil. When he was in self-isolation, was he able to train? Was he able to do anything? Were you in contact with him or trying to get him some sort of schedule to do weights or whatnot? Is there anything he could have done, or was it a case of really bed rest and isolation?
Yeah, it was more bed rest than anything because he was positive. In Ryan's case, we've had a treadmill out to his house and he's been able to work away at home. It's not ideal for him, obviously, but because we feel he's okay to train or do something. It's a bit different for Odsonne and Near and El Hatem, obviously, because they were going through the remnants of the last few days of the virus.
Neil, when you talk about Ryan and the fact that you still don't fully know if you're going to have him available or not, how difficult is that for you when we're less than 24 hours before this match?
Yeah, it's difficult, but we've prepared. Our preparations have been without Ryan, and. It would probably be folly to change that now, but we would like to have him available for the squad if possible, and what we're asking is if it's okay for one, why isn't it okay for the other? That's all. And I think our supporters would like to know that as well.
In terms of the game tomorrow? Obviously, it's such a massive fixture for people, and there's been a lot of advice for fans. Obviously, they would ideally be at the game or watching it with friends and family. What advice have you got to your fans for tomorrow?
Please enjoy the game at home, and stay with your family. Don't put yourself or anyone else in jeopardy with everything that's going on. And hopefully we'll put a performance in you can be proud of and you enjoy the game. But please, don't travel. It's not ideal. We're all in the same situation, and we're all doing our best to come out of this as quickly as possible. But going to other places, going to different towns, it's not ideal. It's not acceptable, and we would, urge our supporters to please stay at home and enjoy the game with the family.
Just going back to Ryan Christie, Neil, when it comes to Arsenal, have you spoken to anyone there at all personally?
When it comes to who?
When it comes to Arsenal, have you spoken to anyone there personally?
Well, our medical department have spoken to the club doctor, and they have had permission from the digital culture sector, who look after the sport. I think they've been given the all clear for Kieran to go ahead. We don't have that up here because everything's devolved up here. But what we've been told is, that in this jurisdiction, Ryan can't be available to play, which, again, we find it strange.
Would the club be looking to take that any further?
Possibly, yeah. Well, we'll certainly want some questions answered, that's for sure.
When it comes to, obviously, Nicola Sturgeon today, just like yourself, has been urging fans to stay at home and also not to gather around Celtic Park. But in terms of, the actual game and being shown on Sky Sports for free, what were your thoughts on that? Showing
the game on Sky?
Live for free.
Oh, that doesn't work. I mean, I don't see the point of that. Sky put a lot of money into the Scottish game, and they have the TV rights, and I think the game should be broadcast properly the way it was intended. So I'm not taking a view on that the game should be for free when people have paid a lot of money to watch the game in the first place.
Neil, how tough a game do you think it will be? Because both teams have been very consistent coming into this one, and obviously coming off the back of the internationals. What sort of game do you expect?
It's a good question. It'll be interesting, without the support, without the energy. It'll be very interesting to see the intensity and the tempo of the game. I think, both teams are capable of producing really good football. I think we are at home, and it's important we consolidate our home form. And, I think it'll be physical. I think it'll be fast, just like any other derby. But I think it's sprinkled with a lot of quality players.
Given the no fans situation, Neil, do you think it can benefit either team, or is it just because you seem to, players can feed off the crowd in a match like this, or what sort of effect do you think it will have?
Well, I mean, some players thrive in the environment, and some prefer. I wouldn't say prefer not to play without fans, because that would be wrong. I think having the support there and having the atmosphere is part of what makes the fixture so well admired around the world, and so important. The colour, the noise, the singing. For it not to be there is going to be very, very strange. But we have prepared as best we can. All our preparations are done now. So, we're ready for any situation that crops up. We're in brilliant form. We've won our last 8 games. We're scoring a lot of goals. So, very much looking forward to the game.
Do you think if this game had been maybe end of August, beginning of September, when it usually is, then it might have had more of an impact, but the players have got used to now, mid-October, playing without the crowd?
Yeah, I think so. And then, a lot of players have been away with the countries, playing in front of no crowds as well. So, yeah, I mean, they're sort of like 10, 12, 15 games into this sort of scenario with no supporters. And, yeah, it's not what we want. It's not ideal, but it's what we have to accept. So we are where we are. I think, I still believe we should be getting supporters back into the stadiums sooner rather than later. But, we'll have to accept what, the authorities say and play the game as strongly as we can without the support.
Neil, given the consistency of both teams, do you think there will be a greater emphasis on this fixture this season in terms of how important the 3 points are?
We heard that last year as well, Luke. They were the same questions were being asked of us last year. Neither game in the league had a major effect on the way the season went. This one's the first one. All it does is give the winners a psychological boost, for however length of time that'll be.
Neil, how's Albion Ayeti looking?
Yeah, he's fine. He's trained the last couple of days, Ronnie, so he's fit and available.
And did that period allow Lee Griffiths to get further up to speed?
He's worked away on it. Yeah, he had a couple of days off over the weekend, like they all did. But he's been training the last couple of weeks and doing well.
Would you have any qualms about putting in Diego Laxalt for his debut?
I'm not going to tell you that, Ronnie. You know better than that, Ronnie.
He is fit enough to play if required.
If required, yes.
Neil, is this the kind of game that Olivier Cham could shine in? He's quite often performed to his best in big matches, old firms, European matches. Could we see him play? Obviously, not give it away, but this is the kind of game that he could start.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's played a lot under me. He was fantastic. Second half of last season until he picked up a slight injury. I'm a huge fan of Olivier. I think he's very talented. I think there's more to come from him in terms of his all-round game. But he does like the big occasions. There's no question that. So yeah, he's fit and available and ready to start.
You've got a really hectic week, big games, AC Milan and up to Todri as well. How important is it to start with a strong performance and a strong result?
Well, we're only looking at this game, and all our thoughts are on, the league, and we know how important that is this season. And obviously, we're playing a team who are a point above us, so it's important we try and keep that winning run going. We play well, we play strong. It's no quarter given in these games, and we've not been overly pleased with the way we played in the last game at Celtic Park, so we want to put that right.
You've had a chance to see Diego Laxalt a bit more in training. What sort of player does he remind you of? What players have you coached or seen that the Celtic fans could look for?
Well, that's a good question. He's very easy on the eye. He's a good mover. Sort of glides across the pitch. Got a lovely left foot. Technically very good defender. In 1v1 situations, and his game intelligence is great. It's probably difficult to make comparisons off the top of my head. But I've been an admirer of his for a long time. Watched him at the World Cup. I thought he was superb. And to get him is brilliant business by us. And I think he's got a good mentality. His English isn't great, so he's finding his feet with that. But he's a good footballer, and I would have no hesitation in starting him, but we'll wait and see make a few decisions on that later on.
Of course, we'd all echo your sentiments that we hope the fans stay home tomorrow, don't make their way to Celtic Park, but the fans have been making themselves known and showing that their support for you at Lennoxtown today. We're out here for you, be in there for us. How much is a boost is that for the squad, just to really get a tangible feeling of how the fans are?
Well, at times, when you're going through these times, you feel a little bit disengaged, so it was nice to have, a bit of support, and the players were all too happy to appreciate and show their appreciation for that support. So, yeah, it was a nice moment.
And now with some key players obviously missing, how much is this a chance for other players to really come out and shine? Yeah,
it's a great opportunity. It's a test of the squad depth that we have as well. So I think there'll be a lot of excitement among the ranks tonight. And their players, they're all ready to play. They've all had game time, some more than others, but they're ready to go. And I think the self-motivation speaks for itself when it comes into a game of this magnitude. So it's just a question of keeping, your emotions in check and make sure you play the game and not the occasion.
Yeah, and you mentioned the emotions. Obviously, it will be really different this time around without any fans. But how are the players mentally? How's everyone in the camp at the moment?
Oh, they're excellent. Very, very good. Obviously, it's been a very difficult couple of weeks for us, with, the health of some of our players, being sort of with the COVID, a major concern for us. And, we're really hoping that they all come through this, quickly and out the other side. And I think that sometimes get lost when you're building up into the game like this. I've been in contact with the players, half time, Ryan, Near, and Odson every day, just to make sure they're okay. So they're all hopefully going to be fine in the next week or so. And the players, the atmosphere here is fantastic. A lot of players have come back from international duty successful, some not so, but they're all back thankfully fit and, with the benefit of some good games under the belt. So the atmosphere today was tremendous. I think they're all looking forward to it very much.
Would you always advocate for players to be able to go and play, internationally and go on international duty despite the challenges that we've got at the moment with the coronavirus?
Well, I touched on this yesterday. It's very difficult for me to say you can't go and play for your country. It's not my place to do that. Some of it has to come from the player themselves and, look at the mitigating circumstances surrounding each block of internationals. But I would never say to a player, look, you can't go. I've played myself, played for my country plenty of times, and I know what it means to these players. And it's all right us being in Scotland. These guys come from around the world. Playing for Israel means the world to them. Playing for Greece means the world to them. Especially when they're away from home, they become even more patriotic towards their own country sometimes. So there is a balance. Obviously, we'll be speaking to associations for the next round of games and see if we can find, a happy medium, because it's not been ideal for us.